Welcome everyone to Live with CXPA. I am Gabe Smith, CCXP, and I'm the content manager for the Customer Experience Professionals Association. So glad that you've chosen to spend some time in your day with us today. And wow, it is so hard to believe we're at the midpoint of 2021 already. So that means it's a great time to check in, think back on what we have to celebrate, what successes we have to celebrate over the first half of the year, and also think about how can we best achieve the goals that we have planned for the rest of the year. So as we meet today to talk with our guests about global trends, about some exciting projects related to diversity, equity, and inclusion that have been executed, we want to hear from you. First of all, we always like to ask you, where are you tuning in from in the world? And a question that I've got on my mind today is, as we reach the midpoint of this year, is when was your last day in the office? Would love to hear from you on that. Personally, my last day in the office was when the CXPA team met at its headquarters in Minneapolis for CX Day planning in the fall of 2019. So it's been a while since we've gotten to get together face to face, but it's part of the reason why we love these virtual events, because we get to see each other and have a good time and talk about CX. So looking forward to hearing from you, looking forward to hearing from our guests today. And you know, honestly, these first two guests need no introduction, but hey, I'm going to do it anyway. Joining us from Columbia, South Carolina in the United States, we have Greg Melia, CAE, who is the CEO of the CXPA. And joining us from Croydon, England is Neil Skehel, the CEO and co-founder of CXPA's Global Partner Awards International, which runs many business awards programs, including several focusing on CX. So welcome, Greg. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you, Gabe. Pleasure to be with you and to be with everyone across the globe here on LinkedIn Live with CXPA.
Yeah, 3 months has passed since we last did this. It's been an amazing 3 months. And thanks for the kind introduction. To anybody who knows Croydon, I don't live in Croydon, Southeast London. It's a small village in Cambridgeshire, but I'm here from the UK. I'm here from the UK today.
Fantastic. And just looking at some of the comments of folks who are joining us, we have Isabel, who is joining us from Quebec. Bonjour. We have Sangeetha, who's joining us in India. Her last day in the office was just yesterday. Fantastic. We have Hemang, who's joining us from India. We have Taimur, whose last day in the office was January 2020. So again, a long time there. We have Nika joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. We have Rami joining, Claude joining us from UAE, and Rami joining us from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Love seeing all of these folks joining from around the globe. So Greg, let me ask you, when was the last time that you were in the office?
Well, I'll take a twist on that because like many people, I worked remote before the pandemic, but my last work trip was actually in March of 2020 down to Orlando, Florida to see if we would move forward with the CXPA Global Insight Exchange. So we're pleased to share that we have dates in our planning on having the Insight Exchange back in Orlando next May. I think it's the 2nd to the 4th, 2022.
That's fantastic news, Greg. So mark it down on the calendar. Orlando, Walt Disney World, great CX conversations and insight sharing to be had. And Neil, how about you? When was the last time
I was actually, I remember that visit you paid there, Greg, because I was booking flights to come across to the Insight Exchange in Orlando. Myself and Luke Murphy, a global ambassador. But my last day in the office was actually a Sunday. It was March the 18th. And it was a sad day because I was closing the office because we'd taken the decision to close the office because we were going to rent an empty space for a year. So, but I have to say it's been there's been many positives to this tragedy over the last 18 months. I've never focused so much on the business as I have over the last 18 months, and I really think that's brought a benefit. And I'm able to say that year to date we're smashing our 2019 figures here, rather than just recovering from 2020. So we're on fire, and we've hired a lot of new people, and it's really going quite well for us. So thanks to all of our customers for that.
Yeah, that's fantastic news. And Greg, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was going to pick up. I think that Neil's comments and what we saw from people's updates on their state of affairs is very much what we're seeing is the tale of two cities. You know, we're seeing a acceleration of customer experience for companies that are committed and structured well, and we're seeing success driven from that. And I'm curious for us to be able to hear, some examples of other companies that are also smashing records and achieving things that weren't even imagined in January of 2020. But on the other hand, we're also seeing a continued challenge, both in terms of the rise of the Delta variant and the continued grip of the pandemic in corners of the world that is keeping people away from offices. And we're seeing a varied impact across different industries. But today, I think we should focus on those silver linings and those opportunities, and really say, how can we discuss together the steps and the foci, the priorities that really help separate the great results from the mediocre or less than acceptable results.
Yeah, that's a great point, Greg. You know, and I think we're going to hear a great story today about some of those silver linings that you mentioned. But overall, you know, sort of looking across the business landscape, I'm interested in your perspective on what does this all mean for CX professionals?
Yeah, I mean, on a pure employment basis, you know, I think that what we experienced last year was a reduction in CX employment. Many people were furloughed. Many positions that were open were put on hold. Many companies did across the board employee trims, and that impacted customer experience programs as well. We began to see that tide turn in the fall of 2020, and the beginning of 2021 is showing some great opportunities where companies are investing in getting the right CX talent to lead their programs, and companies that are invested in CX and doing CX right are finding that they're getting a immediate and meaningful return on investment. So I would say that we went through a bumpy patch last year, and now we're coming back stronger than ever.
Yeah, great news. Really welcome to hear, and I think absolutely right. Neil, I want to come to you because, you know, given that as Greg mentioned, you know, this uneven tale of two cities state of COVID-19 recovery, you've really been able to have a front row seat to some award-winning CX initiatives, and as Greg said, it's kind of silver linings that are going on. I know we're going to have some guests from the Turkey Customer Experience Awards, but more broadly, what are your observations on the state of customer experience, given where you sit?
Well, I mean, many people will have heard me say it before. You know, I think during the pandemic, I think we have seen phenomenal improvement in the customer experience in many areas. And my perception is that organizations where they were systematically, you know, focused on the customer experience before the pandemic have been well placed to grow despite the situation and to take advantage of the situation. I mean, a very simple example of that is Zoom. But there's two events that we had in the last quarter, the Employee Experience Awards in London, and you mentioned the Turkey Experience Awards in Istanbul, albeit virtually, but all Turkish companies. In May, the overall winners at the UK Employee Experience Awards is a company called Everest, and it's a solutions consultancy with 1.5 billion euros turnover per annum and 27,000 employees. And they began their their winning entry for the Employee Experience Awards, focused on a employee experience transformation, they called it. They recognized that they wanted to have more authenticity amongst their leaders and their consultants. And that's a program that they began before. They began the program in 2019, designing it before we even thought about the pandemic. But they continued it through 2020. This is my point. They continued it through 2020. They have grown, and they went on to win in May at the Employee Experience. So that's an example from Europe of a company that were well set up. Sure, they're data, very much a data organization. The other example I wanted to give you is an organization which is called DPD. I mean, DPD is a parcel service in the UK, delivering 300 million parcels a year. And they saw a 55% increase in 10 days at the start of COVID. And I don't think every home delivery company, every logistics company has taken advantage of the opportunity. And I don't use those words lightly. I'm not saying that, but being better for customers has benefited their customers. And they saw 3-year growth targets achieved in 8 months, and they had to shift to working from home. They've become the biggest home parcel delivery service in the UK, and they're achieving 99.9% of their service targets. Not all delivery companies have done that. And I've known DPD for some time. They've entered many of our awards over the last 10 years. And so it's clear that they were well set. And then they listened to their customers and they were able to benefit. And that is, I wouldn't say that's true everywhere. So that's my take on this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, any thoughts in response?
Yeah, I think that Neil touched on two things that we can relate to across the world. One is that the last year has had a shift and a rise in the thoughts on employee experience. Companies have had to learn how to support not only a technical solution to a remote workforce, but also a human solution to the workforce. How do we keep connected? How do we have shared mission? How do we have fair accountability and fair work-life balance? So employee experience has been a hot topic and will continue to be, because I think what we know is that what the world of employment will be moving forward will be different than the priorities and the practices that were in place early on. So how can your company think about driving success for your employees and for your business outcomes? That's what we all want to see. And customer experience believes employee experience is a critical part of achieving that.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. And, I know employee experience is not a new topic. It's something that we've been talking about in relationship to CX for a long time. But, in the context of what some, pundits are calling the Great Resignation, the fact that something like 40% of employees are looking for, a new job, new opportunity, perhaps more flexibility for remote work, these types of things, it takes on even greater importance.
Yep, totally agree, because you can't have a great customer experience without having an employee experience that recognizes and taps into the passion and the enthusiasm and the support of a great workforce and a great employee experience. I will say, I'll put my dart on the board, which is to say that customer experience still remains the key driver, because ultimately having a great employee experience without having a customer base is simply a party. So we need to make sure that we're looking at business results and achieving success.
Interesting point. It's not a part. It's not an employee experience, though, is it? Because part of the employee experience is feeling useful, feeling valued, making a difference, and also increasingly, I think organizations having a societal aim as part of their brand, their offering, their vision, having a societal aim is increasingly important to the employees. So people's reasons for being in a company are active activation, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So yeah,
totally.
I completely concur with what you're saying there.
It's yes, and employees want to have first and foremost, they want to have job security, and to be able to know that this great experience that they're having is going to be there next quarter and next year and into the future. So having the business results shouldn't be counter to having a great employee experience, but should be part of the expectations as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But the second piece that Neil pointed out, and this I think will be a good segue into our guests, is that across different industries, we've seen extreme impacts on COVID. Opportunities for online commerce and for home delivery and for services. Certain things have run and done a much better success. Yesterday, I had somebody out here at my house to look at my crawl space, and he said that their business has never been stronger than during the pandemic, because as people were home, they started to work on all those home improvement projects that they had put off in the past. So there are industries that are doing great because this is an opportunity for increased growth. At the same time, we know that our members and our communities in the hospitality sector, in travel, in a number of different areas, retail, are impacted by the fact that this pandemic changed the way that people move in the world, and the way that they gather, and the way that they engage in services. And so the question is, what happens with those organizations where they have a radical shift in their revenue? How do they stay focused in the idea that customer experience is at the core of their short-term and long-term success? And I think that what we can see is that companies that have a strong customer experience focus learn to use those lulls in the system to really pivot, focus, and deliver, are going to rebound and come out stronger on the other side of this pandemic. So some people already are experiencing success because of the new opportunities provided. And I think that there are others who are using this pandemic as an opportunity to advance their CX programs in ways that they had never imagined before.
Yeah. Greg, great points. I want to take a moment to welcome just a few folks who are joining us, who have joined us. Emerson is joining us from Sao Paulo, Brazil. We have guests from Mexico City, Cincinnati, MZ Peens from Chile, South Africa, Nagia from Hanoi, Vietnam, and Kevin from wet and rainy Corpus Christi, Texas. Fantastic to see all of you. Greg and Neil, before I let you go here, I want to ask you kind of a two-part question. And guests who are tuning in, I want to hear from you too, because this hour that we're spending together today is about celebrating successes, and you're about to hear a really, I guess, inspiring story of success, in my opinion. But I want to ask you, two parts. What's a success that you're proud of as you look back over the first part of the year? And what are something you're really looking forward to as we enter the back half of 2021? So Neil, let me start with you on that. Success, first half, something you're looking forward to, second half.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, in the first half of the year, we've hired about 20 new staff. So that's not that's something to celebrate, right?
Absolutely.
In March, April 2020, I was having existential thoughts. I thought we were done for. I thought we were for those of you who need me to translate the vernacular, I thought the game was up, events industry. And my dream team, Awards International, pulled us through 2020. Boris, Ivana, Lisa, Alexander, the managers. We've had a new marketing manager this year, Davide, and we're growing. We're growing. So, I mean, what can I say? Thank you to them, but also thanks to CXPA, because we agreed our partnership in 2019, global partners in advancing CX. I love it. I love the words, but I love working with CXPA. So I'll celebrate those. And of course, it's your 10th year. So that's even more reason to celebrate.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Thank you, Neil, and we love those words too. Global partners in advancing CX. When we work together, we can help not only convince the C-suite of the importance of customer experience, but also influence what's being done at colleges and universities, what's happening in the press, and to bring awareness of not only best practices and successful stories from customer experience, but consensus on what it means to be a customer experience professional and what it means to have a professional customer experience program. So when I look at that question of, what do we consider success in the first half of 2021, I've got to take my hats off to CXPA's recognized training providers and our CCXP aspirants. They are doing an amazing job of providing training, virtual training in every corner of the world. We have trainers in Vietnam, in India, in France, in Brazil, in the US, just to mention a few. And of course, the Strength Awards International has actually just introduced a new tool for you to be able to go in and assess where you stand on your path to earning the CCXP. So that idea of how do we support those individuals who have said, I'm going to take control of my career path. I'm going to strengthen my knowledge, and I'm going to earn that external recognition that I am a CX professional by earning the CCXP certification. Those are the folks that I celebrate. The 1,266 of you who have earned that credential and maintained it through renewing. Hats off to you. I hope that you're noticing the number of job listings that are including CCXP preferred. We are thrilled to see that, and we love seeing those positions filled by CCXPs. As we look forward to the second half of the year, we want to take that same rigor that's in the CCXP exam area and bring consensus on what it means when we use different CX terminologies. And so we have a project that's being led by Heather Gilbanks, CCXP, and a team of, I think, more than 25 members across the globe that are creating a CXPA book of knowledge that will be a reference tool to help CX professionals. We have another group that's being led by Michelle Spall out of not too far down the road from you, in the UK. And that group is going to produce a series of monographs that will help you as a CX professional understand the perspectives of the other departments in your organization with whom you must collaborate to drive business results and deliver the customer experience. So both of those should be available on the best day of the year. The best day of the year, of course, is Tuesday, October 5th, CX Day. We're planning some great virtual celebrations, a ton of resources. Awards International and I and CXPA have some surprises up our sleeves for you. And so mark that date on your calendar too.
I just pop that onto the screen, Greg. Tuesday, October 5th. Put a hold on your calendar for that day because we're going to have some great content as always. That's fantastic. Love hearing your successes. Just wanted to take a moment to share. Taymor says his success using digital transformation to help orgs engage with their employees, helping them up and reskill them. Helping my clients to keep their workforce happy and warm in tragic times was our success. Great news. Fantastic. Would love to hear from others on that topic as well. So Greg and Neil, I know everyone's excited to hear from our next guests, and I just want to thank you both for sharing your insights, your perspective, and your leadership today with us.
Gabe, thank you as always for convening these conversations and for letting us spend a little bit of time with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Gabe. I look forward to these every quarter, and I look forward to doing this again.
As do we. We'll see you in a few months.
Thanks, guys, and lovely to see everybody today. Bye for now.
Thanks, Neil. All right. So if you are a regular viewer of this program, one of the topics that we've been addressing through the broadcast is the intersection of diversity, equity, inclusion with customer experience. So really excited to welcome our next guest. They're from Istanbul Grand Airport in Istanbul, Turkey. They took home 3 gold awards at the recent Turkey Customer Experience Awards that Neil mentioned in the categories of customer centricity, use of technology, and diverse and inclusive customer experience for their IGA Cares initiative. So I'm pleased to welcome 2 guests, Hilal Karaman and Seben Dai, who are representing the passenger experience team at the airport. So welcome to you both.
Hey, hello from Istanbul. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. It's great to be speaking with you today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And welcome to you as well, Seben.
Hi, Gabe. We're very happy to be together today.
Absolutely. And congratulations on your recent win. So we're, excited to learn more. So, I mentioned this initiative called IGA Cares. So, Hilal, I'll start with you. Can you tell us, what is this initiative all about?
IGA Cares is our initiative that includes all our accessible facilities and our pioneer projects, and also all accessibility awareness work we have done here. As you know, we have a newly built terminal, newly built airport. So we had already completed the accessibility standards in the design and construction periods. However, when we meet with NGOs and individuals having different disabilities, we noticed that we had to have much more than that. We had more facilities. We had to have more facilities above the standards to provide an independent and enjoyable travel experience to our guests. So, by pointing out the needs, we have implemented, tested, and improved new facilities as IGA Care solutions by working together with individuals at each step, individuals and with different disabilities, and also NGOs. Not only we improve the facilities, we have also aimed to take a role in spreading our projects and raise the public awareness about this accessibility issue. I can say that IGA Cares is a non-ending program. We believe in continuous improvement. So you have to refresh our IGA Cares webpage regularly to get updated.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you mentioned one of the things that you mentioned that I think is so important is independence, right? The ability to for people who with disabilities to be able to be able to navigate, to do things independently. I'd love to learn a little bit more about that from either of you. Why was this question of independence so important, and how did that manifest itself into specific projects under the umbrella of IGA Cares?
Mostly people with individuals with disabilities, they get assistance service from their airlines. So assistance helps them while they are going through check-in process, security process. But when they get this assistance service, they have to wait in a waiting zone until their flight, so they cannot benefit all our facilities we have served for them.
Mhm.
So this dependent experience model, actually, most of them were not happy with this model. They want to experience other facilities. They want to eat something, go to shopping, like that.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get some more facilities which will help them to travel independently in our airport.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And Sebin, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your approach to this work as well. And I'm going to take you off of mute. Let's see. Oh, if you could take yourself off of mute.
Okay, I'm
There we go.
sorry.
That's okay.
I can put it. Okay, I think it's a wonderful question because we want to take active role in spreading our accessible services and the independent travel opportunities around the world with our specific applications that will set an example not only for Turkey but also we want to do in the world. You know, we attended the many programs Republic of Turkey Ministry of Transport, and we investigated as they agreed to improve accessibility in all transportation options, you know. And so we prepared many films that will tell our accessibility facilities to make our project much more known around the world, and also include that sign language and audio description in our video to make our film, accessible also blind people and deaf people. So it's an important facility, I think, because we want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
And then we, in Autism Awareness Day, we engage Heathrow, Toronto, and Design Airport on social media, get more impact on autism awareness. We plan to also some artistic things, and we get together also with NGO. We participate on their YouTube channel and talk about what's the Eagle Cave project. So, Gabe, we want to really to be a good example our country and also all the world, because I'm a person with disability, and I really happy to work in IGA because I work very independently.
Yeah.
I include all employees, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so inspiring. You talked about helping to make, the airport a leader in the world. And I think, sort of just hearing you mention the breadth of people with disabilities who this initiative served. Mentioned people with autism, people who are blind. I think that is what is most impressive to me about this initiative. And I think that we're going to see in the video. You mentioned for people who are blind. You did this program called Loud Steps, and so I want to just give the audience a little bit of a background here on this and play this video because I think it's so cool. So let me go ahead and share this.
IGA Cares and IGA Yanımda logo, which is designed with two hands holding each other, is displayed.
At Istanbul Airport, accessible travel is possible.
General scenes from the airport are displayed.
With Loud Steps feature developed for our mobile application, we happily provide independent navigation opportunities to our visually impaired guests.
A disabled man about 30 years of age enters the airport holding his white walking stick.
Using the voice assistant feature on their phones, our guests can have easy access to wherever they want with voice guidance independently.
He comes to the information desk by following the tactile paving with his walking stick. In front of the information desk, he reads the panel that contains floor services information in Braille and Latin alphabets. Scanning the tactile paving, he arrives at the special services point.
With the Track Flight feature included in the Istanbul Airport app, you can receive up-to-date information about your flight as an instant notification. Using Loud Steps map enhancement available in our mobile app, you can search your boarding gate or any other location. Navigate in a barrier-free fashion by following Loud Steps guidance via accessible route. Get information on what there is at the direction you hold your phone thanks to What's Around Me feature. Learn the nearest place to your current location. And finally, enjoy arriving at your destination independently.
While walking with his white stick, he meets with one of his male friends, who is about 30 years of age. A close-up scene of a smiling passenger is displayed. They sit at the table and chat while drinking coffee. Passenger receives a notification on his mobile phone. Following the single-lined accessible route with his mobile phone, he advances to his boarding gate. He slows down when he arrives at the tactile surface that indicates a turn is close. Turning right, he enters the line in front of the boarding gate.
We wish you a pleasant flight.
We wish you a pleasant flight caption is displayed.
That is so cool, so fantastic. What a phenomenal example of inclusive customer experience design. I've got to know more about, what steps you took to plan this initiative. How did you implement it? And then, what was the impact on your customers? So, I don't know, who wants to start on that one, but would love to just tell us more about how this started.
Okay. I will start to explain our journey. Firstly, as I said, we came together with NGOs and individuals with visual impairments. Actually, in the video, one of them now, Çağrı. Çağrı was also with us. They had a chance to get assistance service from the airlines free of charge. But most of them were not happy with this dependent experience model. So they wanted to benefit all airport facilities. So we found a solution with this indoor navigation application. And we worked with a company, Boni. It's a pioneer company actually on improving indoor navigation applications for visually impaired individuals. But the best part is, I think, we came together with, we had site visits together with the individuals, the software developers from Boni company, our IT departments, and us. So we always together at each step. We experienced the airport together and defined the pain points and improved the application according to this. But when we doing these site visits, we have noticed that airport actually had many obstacles, like queue barriers or wayfinding. So in order to provide a barrier-free route, we designed a route with a single-line tactile paving, which helped them, the individuals using white cane, they can follow this path. While following this path, they had a chance to use these lot steps to locate themselves and to learn about the point of interest they want to go. They could get routes with voiced guidance. So we have completed the project after pandemic. We do not have any details from the real passengers for now, but we had site visits with 7 different individuals. So according to their feedback, they have felt themselves more comfortable with these applications. And also they were happy to be able to reach their gates on their own, on their next travel experience. So we are now waiting for our next guests, our real passengers, using our application and happy to experience independent travel.
That is fantastic. I love this. I love everything about this. And I guess the question that I have for you is around, you mentioned doing these site visits. So, was that, tell me about who was going on the site visits. Was that you and your team along with, customers who were blind, along with, members of your IT team, as well as the vendor partner that you mentioned? Was that sort of everyone?
Yes, of course. We always together with individuals. So actually, this is important. This shortens the project, I think, because they define the problem. The individuals with visual impairment, they define the problem, and software developers are there. They hear what they want. So it's a great chance for them to develop the application according their needs. So it was very useful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about the fact that CX is a team sport, and this is an ultimate example of allowing your design process to be customer led, but you have this whole ecosystem of partners that you're dependent on to be able to make the changes needed for the customers, and you involved everyone in that work. What a great success story.
Thank you very much.
But I also know, and just seeing some comments from people who are tuning in, comments on the video. Jose said, "Wow, amazing." And Gia said, "Fantastic." Claude, awesome. I think that was my reaction as well. So kudos on that. And I know that the Loud Steps program wasn't all under the EGIT Cares umbrella. You also focused on creating a welcoming, inclusive environment for people with 7, as you mentioned, autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. And part of that was through something called your very special guest card program. So I want to take a look at what that program is all about as well. Let me bring up the video here.
Here's an Eco Beside Me logo displays on the screen, consisting of two hands holding each other. Accessible travel at Istanbul Airport is possible. Fulya Erdman. She is in her 40s and has dark brown hair. At ear level, she is speaking at the airport.
I am Fulya Aikman, General Secretary of Turkish Down Syndrome Association. I have two daughters. My elder daughter, Kyra, who is 13 years old, has Down syndrome. As a family, we travel frequently. Therefore, we use airports very often. However, Kyra sometimes has difficulties during these travels. She can get tired, especially on long walks, and some sounds like baby cry and similar loud sounds disturb her. That is why she uses a special headset. I wish there were special rooms where she could take off her headset and rest when she feels uncomfortable, so she can go these distances without getting tired. This would be great for us, and now we have learned that these solutions are available at Istanbul Airport.
The accelerated security zone at the airport appears. A girl with Down syndrome who is around 10 years old and has light brown hair at shoulder level. She has a pink headset. The girl and her mother take each other by the hand. Some physical or mental differences can complicate an individual's airport experience. The girl shows the writings in the airport to her mother. At Istanbul Airport, we offer the very special guest card to our guests with differences, such as autism, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome. The girl and her mother take the very special guest card from the information desk and get into the EGA buggy vehicle. The entryway to the room appears on the screen. Very special guest is written on the door of the room. The girl takes off her headset in the room with joy. We offer our very special guest rooms with playgrounds, flight information screens, seating areas, TV, and a private, quiet room covered with soft floors to serve our guests. For a very special guest card, you may apply on our website. The female staff opens the door of the quiet room for the girl. The girl makes a thumbs up with her hand in the room. Accessible travel is possible at Istanbul Airport. Istanbul Airport and EGA logo appear on the screen.
Again, fantastic. Stop 1 second. There we go. To stop a video from playing next. Greg kind of took the words out of my mouth here. He said, I love these videos. Fantastic examples of inclusion while also telling the story of inclusion. So wholeheartedly agree, and love the idea of the very special guest card. Tell me more about this. Seb, I'll come to you on this one. What was the initiative? How did this initiative get started? What was your role? What was the impact?
Yes, it's also important for me because I use the room as a passenger, because Gabe, can you imagine there are many stimuli in their airports, crowds, and and they create, the disabled people create more challenging experience with the specific disabilities, and for instance, persons with autism actually are most crowded and most sensitive, and their stress levels get increased but the people around, they don't know. And after this all challenging experience inside in the terminal, the more challenging part comes from them, the flight. And so we have designed two rooms in the airport, one on domestic side and one of the international area, and we have improved these rooms after the site visit specific group with persons with cerebral palsy like me, persons with autism, and also last said before, due to pandemic, we had a low, unfortunately low number of users. However, but we can get more applications lately as affected of pandemic. We start decline. 22 people applied for the special guest card. However, we have a host 35 guests in our very special room. It's a good number.
Fantastic.
Due to pandemic,
Yeah.
and sometimes our guests also getting some information about the project in the terminal. They need that room, and they said, "Oh, I'm very happy for me and my children." So maybe I want to tell one of the feedback we have that I love the example. A child with autism get quiz while awaiting their flight, and now all personnel take part the barriers to child self-harm, then take them to a room and they start to do playing the toys in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes down, relaxed, and the mother was really thankful for our personnel for the room and our awareness. This is a fantastic example,
Absolutely.
So we believe that, Gabe, as the effect of the pandemic, more awareness.
Yeah. What I love so much about this, but one, what I keep coming back to is as a parent of 2 children myself, my children do not have any disabilities, but traveling with children in an airport is an inherently stressful experience. And, I cannot imagine the stress that comes with, adding on special needs and how much you have improved the experience for these children, but then also the parents. And this to me gets at the heart of what customer experience is all about. And I think why so many customer experience professionals I know are watching got into this field to begin with, because of course there is the financial imperative for return on investment of customer experience. And we talk about that a lot. But what I think that you've gotten to through this initiative is something that's also deeper, and there's a moral imperative and a needs that you have met for your customers that I think is just phenomenal. So, let me ask you, I'm going to ask you both one final question. As organizations look to design and develop more inclusive experiences for their customers, you all have been through this. So what advice would you share with those organizations that are looking to create better experiences for all of their customers? So Halal, I'll start with you on that.
Maybe I start, then Hilal can add something.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Simon.
Gabe, firstly, they trust their team because this is not a social problem. This is a human right, and this is a so important thing that the right to travel. So they think that this is a human right. They go too fastly, you know. It is important to me because we need the special facilities to live independently because it's important. This is a human right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. Thank you for sharing, Seven.
Thank you.
Hello, what are your thoughts?
I think the other thing is working together with people with different disabilities. It's very important. They are real users. They will use and benefit from these facilities. So it's very important to work together with them before implementing the projects, finding the solutions, testing and improving steps. So they should work together. And this is my advice.
Yeah. And Sebin, what you said, trust your team, because this is about customer experience and it's about human rights, as you said.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for joining us today. This has been just a remarkable effort to create more inclusive experiences for your customers. Congratulations again on the airport's win at the Turkey Customer Experience Awards. Just a real pleasure to have you both on and to learn from you both.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gabe. It's been wonderful to be
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Okay. Wow, that was amazing. Just inspiring. Great start to my day. Hope for yours as well. So speaking of congratulations, CXPA is really excited to congratulate Schneider Electric, who just won CXPA's 2021 Innovation Award. So I got a chance to interview and surprise Philip Morris, who's the customer experience manager at Schneider, with the good news. So I wanted to, since we're on the theme of award wins, wanted to share that video with you today. I actually wanted to tell you that you and Schneider Electric are the winner of the 2021 CXPA Innovation Award.
No way! Brilliant. That is great. Oh, Gabe, that's great news. Great news from me and the team that did the work. It wasn't me, it was the team. That is, for all the effort that they put in, that is great news. Brilliant. Really have got from having relatively nothing in place to doing continuous improvement and customer journey mapping and driving that improvements. It's a very proud moment for us, and I'm sure for my colleagues, you know, because as I said before, they are the people that have done the hard work. Mine was the glory position, really bringing them together. So yeah, Gabe, it's a great honour to us and the team. Really, it's fantastic.
Love seeing these examples of award-winning CX. We're hoping to get Philip on for a future program. You can check out our awards programs at cxpa.org/awards, as well as Awards International's programs at awardsinternational.com. But I want to bring back in Greg Melia real quick to just reflect on just that inspirational story that we just heard. And Greg, will you take yourself off of mute?
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Gabe, for bringing together that story and sharing it. Those videos were just incredible to see the way that they were designed for those who can watch visually to consume the information that way, but to hear the voiceover comments that also made people aware of what those who can't see were experiencing as it went through the video. That was incredible. And I love the sign language that was included, you know, because sometimes people prefer captioning, but many people prefer American Sign Language or International Sign Language as their preferred communication vehicle. So that was cool to see. But one thing that we didn't talk about, and I wanted to reflect on it for a moment with you, is as we watched those videos, we each could think about how Istanbul Airport thinks about passengers as customers. But on another level, we can also know that each airport thinks about its airlines as a customer as well. And so what we really were seeing is not just the impact of customer experience as it moves to the individual, but also that idea, of B to B to C. And so I often hear people think about that question and think, well, that's direct to consumer, and so that's different than me. When it all comes down to it, we absolutely have to have that core reaction at the individual level, and then think about how can you coordinate so that airports can welcome airlines to participate in these programs and can make that seamless journey that helps them. I love Istanbul Airport. That's actually one of the transfer points that my family passed through on a trip a few years ago. And just fantastic to think that these enhancements and improvements are there, because you're right, Gabe, traveling, even when you are with just kids can be a journey in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a shot in the arm that I needed today. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation. Yeah. And Greg, we're going to keep it going next week. We've got Steve Walker coming on from Walker Information. It's going to talk about, we've got some special guests. You're going to be there, I know, talking about what are some of the key ingredients to making an impact in CX. So that one's happening next July 14th at 1 p.m. Hope you're going to join us there.
Awesome. And, for all of you viewers that are looking, two things. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat of topics that you'd like to see us address in future Live with CXPA sessions. And secondly, if you haven't already done so, please visit cxpa.org, create an account, stay connected with us. If membership's the right thing for you to help support you in your career, we have options for you as individuals or as teams. But most of all, we want to stay connected with you and advance CX together.
Excellent. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, you all. Hope you have a great rest of your week.